Welcome back. It's like I have to beat you to it. Beat you.
I feel like you do that at the beginning of every episode.
I try, but I can't come up with stuff every time.
Ooh, today's very serious, guys.
It is serious. The people. It's serious. Ooh. See, I can't do props.
What's the prop, though?
V made us put on props, and I have on black lipstick, and it keeps getting on this microphone.
I love a good prop. Even though you guys can't see us, we pretty much, I play dress up every episode.
Yeah, she does. Okay, sidebar. Church microphones are the most disgusting things to look into.
Look, we all stopped and looked at the microphone like...
Okay, but no, seriously, guys. Welcome back to a podcast about nothing with
V
and AD. I know.
With special guests
Rezi
and JC.
Oh, we rhymed the names.
You have to make everybody name rhymes.
We practice.
Practicing.
All right, so...
These people are...
Not these people.
So, Rezi is our social media manager who's been doing so great. Praise God, because it wouldn't have been me. If you've noticed all the colors, the themes, the graphics, shout out to her. That's her. And JC is the lovely Jaden that we speak about pretty much every episode. V's daughter. She's old.
Debatable. We're still waiting for the results.
The results are in.
You are the mother. No, just kidding.
But this is actually this is actually serious when it's really serious. It's not just a serious one where Adrian says it's serious. It's serious. So
your name is Adrian or AD?
AD. Ooh, Adrian makes it serious.
Ooh.
Okay.
Davina.
So,
Ew, that's nasty.
I keep hitting my lip.
That's nasty.
Oh, okay. But no, being that this is, what is this month? Mental Health Awareness Month.
It is.
Yeah, Mental Health Awareness Month. This is great that we have people who are willing to speak and be open. We are all going through things, people. But the difference is we have Rezi here who has been diagnosed with, quote unquote, a sickness. I don't know how much I agree on the term, but...
Or that it's a sickness.
Or that it's a sickness. But she's willing to discuss her experience with depression and anxiety today with us, which I'm excited about because usually people speak about their past and what they went through.
Yeah.
But being that she's going through it and still willing to share, you deserve 6 cookies.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Rezi's lit.
Oh, I was about to say, you got cookies.
What? We ain't got no cookies.
Wait, actually, we do have cookies upstairs.
No, absolutely not.
This is the studio.
This is the studio, Jaden. I mean, JC.
But upstairs in the cabinet in our office, we got cookies.
Oh, we got offices.
Yeah, the cabinet where the boys control. But yeah. That's
right.
Okay. So she just wanted to get a couple things off of her chest. So we're actually going to let her lead, and as we usually do, always ask questions from what we want to understand, or from someone outside looking in on what we want to gain understanding on. I know for me, I want to know from someone who is going through something like this, how you can get through it, and also, I wouldn't say everyday life, but more so the solution. That's really what I want to know.
Nobody knows a solution.
Nobody knows. I mean, I think there's a solution to everything. Every problem has a solution in my eyes.
That's true.
And that's if you consider it a problem.
Ooh, you deep.
That's deep. Haiku for that ass. That's deep.
And Rezi, the floor is yours.
It is yours.
Oh, gosh, y'all should never have given me a mic.
If you want to sing, you can too.
Oh, no, thank you.
I can be your
I'm
backup.
good.
I can sing, girl.
Okay, well, I guess I started dealing with this like halfway through high school, or like maybe before then, but I think with most people who have any sort of problem, at first you think you're just being dramatic about it.
Yeah.
But initially, like, that's what I thought was going on. And then I was like, hey, this is not really going away. Like, I'm still dealing with this every day. So what's up? And
so what is it that you were dealing with every day? Like,
okay,
what was
well, initially I was like, okay, well, I feel like a little bit of lower self-confidence. And I think that's the start of it. And when you're growing up, when you're getting to like high school age, you naturally have those types of feelings, I think.
Yeah.
Like that's something that everyone experiences. And so that was part of the reason why I was like, well, this is probably just normal. But as that went along, it was more like, oh, well, I feel lower because of it. And like it's a sustained low. Or then I lose sleep over it. Or like I think about it during school, or I lose focus over it. And so it became something that was more than just like a common growing up problem.
It wasn't just PMS.
Yeah, for real.
Or puberty. When do you hit puberty? Middle school? High school?
You could hit puberty.
Elementary.
Yeah.
Puberty like 3 times.
You hit what?
Science?
Oh wait,
Jake?
no, that's a growth spurt. Never mind.
Okay.
And you're canceled.
Okay.
Yeah, but no. I say like probably junior year is when I probably realized that I was actually going through something that was like depression. And then for like a year, I was like, maybe I should say something about this.
So you dealt with it by yourself for a whole year.
Yeah. And at first I was just kind of trying to figure out like a label for it in my own mind. Because I was like, well, other people have depression. I'm probably just feeling low right now. And maybe it's stress. Maybe it's something else. And then junior year, I was like, oh, I'm stressed, but it's also that. So then I kind of figured it out myself, and I was like, oh, well, naturally, I'm a Virgo. I can figure out my problems.
Oh, here we go.
Damn Virgo. Let me just tell you something about a Virgo. God. Say, just go ahead.
So I was like, I can do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. And after that point, I was just like, oh, well, okay, well, I should talk to someone about this. But that's hard because, first of all, where do you start? And
That's
secondly,
the question. Ooh, child, that's the
Yeah.
question.
Secondly, I don't like talking for too long. That's going to be a long conversation.
Yeah.
And people ask me questions, and it's going to be 3 hours later, and I'm still talking, which I'm not about. But
It's only gonna be about like 45 minutes.
oh my gosh. But by the time it was senior year, I was like, I gotta figure out like my life. I mean, that's debatable. No one knows what their life is gonna be like once you're in
still
senior
trying to
year.
figure it
I'm
out.
about to say that senior year pressure ain't no hoe.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I was like, I gotta figure out college. I gotta figure out all those other things. So let me try to sort this part out because I know it's hard for me to do it on my own. So then I like kind of, I guess, gathered the courage, if you can call it that, to talk about it with my parents.
Absolutely is courage.
Yeah, I guess so. And that was rough.
And
Like
that was after what, 3 years almost?
yeah.
Ooh, child.
So that was draining.
The conversation in itself or getting to the conversation?
Both, because
Yeah.
like I remember I was just sitting there, I was like, oh, how am I meant to do this? Like, how do people actually do that? I don't think anyone ever told me. Like, if I looked it up, I'd be like, let me look on Google in the middle of the
Oh,
night.
YouTube got some crazy video. This is what you do. Like, y'all got videos on everything.
I was like, let me
Lord.
take a quiz to make sure I'm right about this.
That's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But then, yeah, it took me like a whole night to like actually get myself up to doing it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it now. and then I was at the door. I was like, I'll do it now. And then I didn't. And then I just sat there. And I just did like that like 30 times. And then I got to it. So, I mean, I got to it eventually. So it was pretty
What was the reaction?
I guess it was kind of like, oh, how did we not see this happening? Because for me, like, I don't like worrying anyone else in general. Like, if I can seem okay, I'd rather do it unless it's worth worrying someone over. And I guess at that point, I decided it was worth worrying someone over.
Because you have been dealing with it for so long.
Yeah. So I felt bad about that because I was like, if I say something about it, then that's more stress for someone else and it's not just me. Versus like, okay, well, if it's just me dealing with it, then no one else's life has to be harder. And so if I can figure out a way to cope with it on my own, then that's the best possible solution for me. But I mean, I came to a point where I realized like I couldn't probably
do it on your
shouldn't do
own.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if maybe I could, it wasn't like the best for me. So I mean, that was rough, I guess, for everyone, but I'm glad I did it.
Was it like a sense of relief, or did it bring on a new set of problems for you?
Or both?
Both. Yeah, because at that point, I was like, well, at least I talked about it.
But they started to worry you with it?
Yeah. So then I was like, dang, what did I just do?
That's the hardest part, when somebody expresses something's wrong, especially if they choose you. That's what I always feel like. When people come to you about a certain problem, they're choosing you to express themselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they choose you. So it's always, first initial reaction would either be to get upset, to be happy that you're chosen, but then you want to understand everything that goes wrong. And for somebody who a lot of people do call on for advice or to speak to or just release certain things, it's hard to just sit back, not give advice, or try to bother them with all the questions to understand it. So I can see how.
Yeah. And for me, I was like, hey, I'm telling you this, but I don't need you to like come up with a 50-step plan right now to solve it. I'm just trying to let you know.
Like, I'm just trying to say what's going on. Y'all can chill.
Right. I just look.
Like, here,
I
this
said
is
something
what it
immediately.
is.
They were like, okay, here's the step we're going to take. I was like, no.
But I think that would happen with
anyone.
any parent.
Yeah.
Lies.
I'm like, okay.
What?
I said lies.
Oh.
We're good.
All parents don't think to solve, because a lot of parents don't deal with it.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Like, I
that's
got
true.
lucky.
I think it's easier to not deal.
It is easier to not deal, because
Yeah.
they'll push you off if you, especially now with everybody preaching, oh, go to therapy, go to therapy, go to therapy, go to therapy. If you refuse therapy or don't want to do that, they feel like that's the only solution.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Speaking of therapy, are you in therapy?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in therapy?
Oh, God. I think it's been like 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. Probably
2
a little
years?
bit longer. Yeah.
What they been telling you?
Oh, God.
Right. Maybe you can help all of us,
Like, honestly,
because you
I
are an
thought-
expert now.
Yeah, like, I thought therapy was, when people say I have like a therapist, I'm thinking it's, you check in. It's like a check-in person. Like, hey, this is going on. I'm going to see you for a couple weeks. We're going to get through something, or you going to equip me with the knowledge and the little voice in my head to get through this. And then I'm going to come back and let you know about my progression or my failures.
So
I didn't know. It hasn't been a consistent thing.
It's been a consistent thing. So initially I didn't go as often, and now I just go like every week. But honestly, at first it feels like you're going to solve a problem, and that's kind of the point of it. Like, you're trying to get through something. But now it's more like, hey, I have someone to like get things off of my chest with without having to like explain it all over again. Like, think about like having to open up to someone new like each time you talk to them, or explain more of what's going on each time you talk to them. Even
True.
if you're talking with people close to you, you might not update them about all your feelings. So then you got to explain further. It's nice to talk to someone who pretty much knows what's going on.
Because it's consistent.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing y'all do talk about.
Mm-hmm. So it's helpful. And like, even if it's, hey, I have a week where I'm like, oh, I'm chill, I'm good. Like, everything's fine. This was a really good week. I mean, I don't have as much to talk about, but then I can still talk about, oh, here's something good that I did this week. Here's how I can keep
So
this
it's not all
going.
negative.
Yeah. I mean, therapy isn't always like, oh, you have this problem, let's talk about it and solve your issues. Sometimes it's just like, hey, here's a good thing that we want to cultivate, and here's something that I was excited about that I wanted to talk about. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you do the same thing with a friend?
That's more so what I want to know. Like, have you transitioned?
I mean, I don't know, because I don't have
some-
friends, so.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I don't have it, but I'm saying you have somebody close to you. But I would think that therapy would transition into, it's almost like practice to be able to find somebody in your personal space to do that with.
Well, okay. So that's kind of a tough situation, because on the one hand, like, with therapy, you can offload a lot of feelings in a way that you wouldn't want to do that with friends or people close to you. Like,
To what you were saying earlier.
not just like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, but it's also like a lot for another person to have to like
A burden.
Yeah. I mean,
since it's
a
their
lot of people
job,
say
it'll
like,
be
hey,
easier
you're
to
not
take
burdening me by talking to me. And it's like, I believe you, but it's also, hey, I'm not going to talk about everything that's going on with me because I don't want to put all this on you.
All of it on
Yeah.
you.
So then
I
that's
understand
where
that.
a therapist would come in and like,
It's like, this
you
is
can
your
have
job
both,
to listen
and you
to me.
can like have someone that you talk to about your feelings, but it's not the same sort of situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Rosie.
Okay. We hear you. Mic 3.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Oh, should I turn the mic? Okay. So like
No, we have 4 mics.
We're in equipped studio. Okay.
so what if your friend's a therapist?
Your friend's a therapist.
But you're
bro,
not,
I don't know
Jaden.
about ethics. That's like an ethics.
Oh, like if they go to school for psychology?
Yeah, like so can I talk to you like
Girl,
a
show me your
therapist?
PhD.
Have you? I don't know about. I mean, I'm not a therapist, so I don't know about that. But like, I feel like there's kind of like a line with ethics there, where it's like, hey, I'm your friend, and I want to talk to you as your friend, and not as someone who's trying to like diagnose you or cure you or something like that.
Yeah.
So you got to draw a line in some way. It's like, hey, I can help you with some skills, but I can't be your therapist. Like, if I'm also going to be your friend. That's my feeling about it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. We getting somewhere.
Go, Razzie. Go, Razzie. So what are different things you do to get through your day, to cope?
Oh, bro. Gosh.
Okay. What are some of the strangest things you do to cope?
Oh, Jaden knows this.
Oh, wait, okay. Hold on one second.
Why are you so excited?
My 4. Okay. So she does this thing where she'll be on the bed and she'll just roll on the floor. But it's not like a graceful roll. It's kind of like a flop.
I'm imagining it in my
And
head.
she'll like sit. So then she'll just sit and she'll stare. And like she won't be on her phone or anything. It's like a real like mental like I just need a break type flop and roll and sit.
A break from what? The bed?
From I don't know.
From
And
life.
Oh, like the role is like a shutdown, like I'm out of
Yeah.
it.
It's like,
so I
we're done.
Yeah, so
not
I
like
call
that.
it the stages of distress with
Oh.
Resi. Because she has stages. Like, first stage is rolling off the bed and flopping. Second stage is staring into space. Third stage is contemplating life. Fifth stage is laughing like a maniac. Fourth stage...
Stop making me sound like
So wait, okay. Yeah, because you making her seem like she does all these things.
I don't do
in
that all the time.
a minute, like in 10 minutes, and if that's.
No, it's a progression. It's a
Also,
pro-
earlier when you were like, "Is this stage 45?"
No, like I was like actually serious. Like I've been counting since
Oh,
yesterday.
for real. Listen, I am going through stuff.
But at least you're willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing.
Can I ask you something though? Do
Yes.
you believe coping is the right thing to do?
Well, yeah, because you don't know how long you're going to be dealing with all this stuff. Like, even if you're taking steps to quote unquote cure it, like that's not something that's going to happen overnight. So you got to learn
That's
how to
true.
deal with every day. So, for example, like if it's something like anxiety that I'm dealing with, sometimes if I'm feeling really anxious in a moment, I'll like pretend I have like an imaginary keyboard out and type out my feelings. So like I get the nervous energy out, and then also I'm just like
Oh, that's
communicating
deep.
my feelings.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of imaginary, okay, so
Oh,
I had an imaginary cousin. Her name was. Didn't I talk about her before on another episode?
a cousin though.
Okay. I mean, stop judging. Okay.
But how?
How did she get in the family?
So, no, actually, she was my aunt's daughter.
Did she know about her?
Yes, she's the one who told me about her.
Oh,
Wait.
Okay. So, I have an aunt
everybody.
that we were on the bus. She took me on my first bus ride. And I was like, oh, how come you don't have any kids? She said, because I never got married. I said, well, can't you have kids without getting married? I'm probably like maybe 6 years old. She was like, no, absolutely not. I said, oh, okay, well, if you had a child, I would have someone to play with. She said, well, Davina, meet your cousin Penelope. Penelope. I kid you not. I've taken Penelope with me everywhere.
Still?
Hey,
I mean, no, I've talked about her probably.
where did she go?
You know what was funny though? I've talked about her probably like 4 times within the last year. which probably means something significant. So I probably should call my aunt because she's my grandma's sister.
Oh, hey, grandma, sister.
Hey. Yeah. You said where did Penelope go? Oh, she went to Hampton. She's a doctor now.
Oh, Penelope got money.
She's smart.
Right.
She get into med school.
But yeah, imaginary keyboard, imaginary friend. Look.
That's how you cope with life.
We're all a little crazy.
No, seriously, I will say though,
we're all a little
that's the one thing
sane.
that you lose from your childhood. That I feel like the people who can keep that are like the happiest people in the world. Their imagination.
Oh, true.
True.
Oh,
Or just
Like I
I'm
told
very
you this.
happy.
People who can watch movies, kudos to you.
You can't watch movies?
Not really.
I love.
I can't watch stuff that's make believe and make myself be into it.
What? You don't like Lord of the Rings? What's wrong with you?
No, like all that type of stuff. I'm like, really?
Dragons are real.
Flying brooms, really? Orbing in the room, really?
Oh, so you're not a
Matilda.
Harry Potter
See,
fan.
Matilda was like my perfect balance. 'Cause
The
it was
issue
like,
is that you thought you were Matilda.
I mean, hey, you don't
Have
know
you
what
ever
I
seen
did with my
Matilda?
eyes. No, but seriously. Wait.
Everybody's just looking at you like, oh.
What? No, seriously.
Maybe we need to be asking you the questions.
Imaginations are great.
They are.
Keep them up, because mine is shots. Shits. Okay.
Well, that's an imagination.
It is.
Penelope's on this episode.
Hey, scoot over, Penelope Dang.
Rezi, what else do you want to tell us?
How? Okay, let me ask you this. So, people dealing with you, what is the greatest misconception that people have about people dealing with depression, or in your that you see people dealing with you and they know or heard of your situation? Like, what's the thing? Like, don't treat me like this. Like, look, I know I'm depressed. Don't be coming around me, hugging on me, trying to kiss on me extra hard because you feel like something is wrong with me.
Only you feel like that. I feel like you're speaking from personal experience.
I'm just saying, like, what's like the biggest misconception people probably have when dealing with you or somebody?
That's a really
dealing,
good question.
Dealing with.
Like, you're actually pretty right. Like, I don't always need people tending to me or
And
anything
paying
like that.
attention. See what I'm saying?
Because then
I
it just
know.
makes you feel like things are worse than they are, I guess.
Do you feel like you have that a lot? Like people always trying to...
They have to walk
Not
on eggshells.
intentionally, but it's like, hey, if you have someone you love who's going through something, it's like, hey, I want to figure out how to make this better for you or how to help you with it. And it's like, I'll let you know. But I guess part of that comes from like, hey, I don't know what you're thinking at every given point. So you could be dealing with something, but you just don't want to talk about it, which sometimes might be true. But like sometimes it's just like, I don't want to, like, I don't think it's worth talking about right now. Like I'll figure
all the time.
Yeah, like I'll figure it out. I'm dealing with it. I'm coping with it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And so it's just like, I also wish, I think a lot of people might feel like this. Like if you say you're okay, just take it at face value.
Ooh, that's deep. 'Cause
That's good.
I ain't gonna let it go.
Yeah.
What?
If somebody tells me okay and I believe or I've heard or I've seen that they're not okay, I'm not gonna let it go.
Yeah, and like it's understandable.
Yeah.
Why someone would react that way, but it's also like, dang, can I catch a break?
Yeah.
So do you... Question for you, AD. Do you think they're not okay because of what you've heard or because of what you see?
All of it.
Oh, okay.
Like if I've heard it multiple times, and being that this is a family thing, you know, our family's really close. So I've heard about it. I've seen you, and I've noticed the spirit change. Not, you know, you've always been a monotone person. People take me to be at that too. So I don't necessarily go by that, but it's been a repetitive thing that I've heard, something that I have seen, and something that we basically know to be true from you speaking about it. So personally, I wouldn't want to let it go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you live down.
It is
easy.
hard to. Yeah.
It's hard to just be around somebody. And speaking from my own experience, me telling somebody I'm not okay, I don't know what it is though. Like I get what you're saying when you're saying like I'm okay, I got to figure it out because I can't put it into words. Like you said earlier, I don't like not knowing how to explain myself.
Exactly.
When it's time for me to explain myself, I'll put it into words. Like I told you the other day, when it's time for me to say something, I'll say what I need to say. If I don't have the words, I'm not going to speak about it. So I know if something is wrong, if there is a problem, I'm not going to let it go. And that's usually for the people that I know that are close to me and surrounding me.
That's true. And that's where, like, you got to just be really transparent with your communication and, like, talk about stuff. Because for me, it's like, okay, I know in the past I might not have talked about everything that I was feeling. Then we need to make sure that we're communicating properly so that you know when I'm serious about something. Or when I need to be like, hey, it's okay, you can step back. Like, you can't just say it and expect people to understand you. That's something you have to talk about. Like, really just have discussions about and be transparent with.
I can say one thing. You are very open about it.
Who? Resi. Yeah, I was about to say, you seem, for the most part, you seem really open about. Yeah. You know what you're feeling. You know how you feel in a lot of moments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like hiding stuff for the most part. And really, I feel like it just makes everyone's life harder if I don't talk about stuff. And then for anyone who might be like looking at me, or like little cousins who just see what's going on with me, I don't want it to be like, hey, everything's going well. Because if something else happens to them and they go through like a similar situation, like they're gonna be like, oh, I'm the only one who deals with this. And that's not true. Like, I'm dealing with it, and I'm still dealing with it now, and I'm still here figuring out life like everyone else. So it's fine.
That's deep.
It is. I think that's my hardest thing, is letting it go. But also,
I just think, I don't know, because I'm not around you all the time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I can let it go, because out of sight, out of mind for me. But
true.
Oh, she said peace.
No, I'm just saying that's for everything. Like, when it's not in my view, if it's not in my vision on a daily basis, I don't have to deal with it. Like, I don't have to put it in my, so I can only imagine what your parents feel, or something like that, or your siblings or something like that feel. The people have to deal with you on a daily basis, but it's different. You know?
How do your siblings feel? Do they talk about it with you? Do they try to understand? Do they ask? Or
I mean, sometimes we'll talk about it, but like, I don't feel like we need to talk about it so much, because I think they see me talking about it with my parents so much, and it's like, okay, I think
like I don't want to be that person to you.
Yeah.
I mean, like occasionally they'll be like, hey, we can talk about this, and that's not really like my siblings to do. Like Putty, she don't talk about nothing.
That is not her name. What is her name?
P.
Thank you.
Oh, she rhymes too.
Oh yeah, A-D
V A-D
Resi J-C
and
P.
Hey! Yeah, but no.
Liam, you're not allowed.
Lee.
Oh, true. But for her, it's like, especially since she's my little sister, I can tell like she's trying to like do little things to make things easier for me. And she's not like a very expressive person. So like I can tell when she's making an effort to like understand me, or like make things a little better for me. Yeah, that's like I can tell. And then Liam's, he's more expressive, but like I don't think he would ever want to make me like uncomfortable or anything. So he just does it in his own way. I can tell. It's nice. Like with siblings, it's different from parents, because parents are like, let me hover.
Yeah,
like, they aggressively love you.
What's
like,
wrong? You're like, all right, chill out.
Do I aggressively love you?
Yes.
She's avoiding the game.
JC's
this is a safe space.
This is look.
She's giving me the death glare right now. But no, you don't like aggressively hover. I think it's more, oh, can you not hear me? Hey. But like it's more so like you're very, when you want to know something, you're very pressy. And it's not a bad thing, because it shows that you care.
Just answer my question.
The first time.
Okay.
That's that inquisitive. What are you to say?
That's it. When I go, huh? It's like, oh, everybody is in trouble.
She about to figure it all out.
I'm about to figure it all out. Everything needs to be figured out. If I go, huh?
If you hear that coming out of V's mouth, she's about to get to the bottom.
I'm
the bottom.
Every question in the book, Scooby-Doo style. Right, exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, I think. Again, I think we all go through some type of depression. We all have some type of mental. I hate the word illness.
Yeah, I don't think it's
a mental off balance, because we're all dealing with like poisoned foods and a messed up reality. I personally think it is. To me, if you really think about it, think about the numbers. Let me go back to school for psychology to get my PhD in something. I bet y'all make bank right now. All these depressed people in the world.
For real.
All these people who are coming out saying I have a problem, and then they speak to somebody and realize like, oh no, this is life. I'm just dealing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just dealing with it. Like, that's it. Like, you know, like if I got some money, I'll be cool.
So yeah, I have a question.
Well, no, I think more people with money. Well, I don't know, because poor people don't have money to go to the doctor to get diagnosed. So,
and that's why they I wouldn't say
insurance?
they suffer or no. But I don't think that's what I'm saying. I feel like everybody is going through something. We can all be. My personal belief is we can all be diagnosed with something.
Hell yeah!
That's
diagnosed myself last week, like 4 things.
Okay.
Huh? Okay.
But I honestly do believe that if we were all to go just be the healthiest we can be, check on everything, physical, mental, spirit, all of that, we can all be diagnosed with something.
So
all of us.
I have a question. So do you think like this whole medicine, like you like being diagnosed, because we all really can be diagnosed with something, do you think it's like a hoax? Like
medicine? Like medication?
Like being like diagnosed, like not diagnosed.
No, but everything
being,
is
like,
a business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, do you think it's like,
if you eat right, if you exercise?
I also think that's a hoax. Like, water is not going to fix
No one said water is going to fix your brain.
But
Actually, it does.
Whose brain?
If you break a bone, just drink water and you're healed.
I'm going to drink some water.
Water is not the magic
water.
solution for everything. But yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, do you think it's like, not a hoax, but like, yeah, no,
people want money.
Yeah,
I believe everything is a business, so I do believe there's a good and bad to everything. I don't think all doctors. I don't know what day it was, but it took me to realize that everybody's just not good at their job. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? You can go to school for 36 years. I don't care. Once you get that day on the job, you can be terrible.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody is not really good at their jobs. Police officers, as we can see. True. Doctors, as we can see. Politicians, as we can see.
What
judges.
are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Politicians.
What do you mean?
Uncle Nana.
But no, I'm just saying. Everybody is not good at their job. So when it comes to professions such as being a doctor, having to have, speaking to people as a therapist or something like that, some of their intentions might not be good. I walk into work a lot of times. Granted, my job is not that serious, but I walk into work a lot of times ready to not do a damn thing. You get what I'm saying?
Doctors have bad days.
You get what like everybody has bad days, so there's money to be made in everything. There's a diagnosis to be made or given to everybody. There's something to be made in every situation. So I don't think it's a hoax. I do believe there's some good that comes out of it. The medicine that they choose, people really do care about people, but there's also bad days, bad people on the job. There's also bad doses of medicine. People mess up at the factories. I believe, you know what I mean? You have to consider all of this stuff.
There's also like sometimes people don't want to say they don't know stuff,
and
like,
people can't say they don't know,
like,
because they
I don't know what's
the
going on
degree
with you,
wall.
but I'm just gonna say you're this.
Exactly.
That's
like, how many times have people come up with something, have a sickness, they go to the doctor and they don't solve it until they go see another doctor. You get what I'm saying?
Every time.
All the time. Because half the doctors, they don't know. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you some of this. What you want? You want some of these?
So do you think that medication actually helps you?
It depends on what we're talking about. But some stuff I can tell. Other things, it's like I don't really know exactly what it's targeting. Like, we've discussed it, but like once you take enough stuff, then it's kind of hard to pinpoint what exactly is fixing what. So
that's true.
Yeah. And that's why, like, sometimes you gotta talk. Well, not sometimes. You gotta talk a lot about, like, hey, should I take this? Hey, like, when am I going to take this?
Have you ever tried not to take something and then have it like, all right, well, I'm not going to take this for 30 days?
Not intentionally, but, like, it's happened before. And it's like...
Did it affect you or no?
Well, not really, because, like, for example, I was on, like, Prozac. Mm-hmm. And I was on the lowest dosage of it. Mm-hmm. And there was a time where I was like, oh, I can't keep up with anything, like anything at all. So even the medicine was hard to keep up with.
From taking the Prozac? Or
Because of
the Prozac, or
What does Prozac do?
it's supposed to help with depression, I guess. Kind of
I
like
thought Prozac was for ADHD.
I thought that's what it was. They gave it to this boy in my school who had ADHD, and it made
I'm
him
not
really
sure
like
exactly
sluggish,
what
like
it's for.
it kind of like, yeah.
I don't know what else it helps with.
All
but
medicines have like different.
They can. I'm
help with
pretty sure
different
this one
things.
helps with like multiple things though. But for this one, it like for me, it makes like my lows a little higher, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is the feeling, if I can ask? So there's a way, for me personally, I say there's a way to describe everything. Maybe you not know the words
Yeah.
to put them into action, or to say them out loud, but what are like the feelings? Is it like on a daily basis you feel like you don't ever have an appetite, or you just don't feel like getting out of bed, or when it comes time to taking a shower or writing things or doing certain things, you don't feel like, what are the feelings that you have?
Okay.
Because a lot of times we think depressed people operate like normal people. So what is it that you're feeling on a daily basis?
Well, for me, it's just like things just take more effort. Well, it's not just that, but that's part of it. Or like to focus, it takes a little bit more effort. Like I was saying this today, like my brain just felt fuzzy. I was like, I can't focus on stuff. I told her my brain felt like cotton wool. Like it's, you know, like TV static.
Oh.
That's kind of what it feels like.
White
sometimes.
noise.
Yeah. So it's like, I know I have the capability to focus on something, but it's just not working out. I gotta tune it. I don't know how to do that right now.
With the little hangers and like
Yeah.
moving around.
Oh.
Hangers.
Yeah, like for a TV.
The
and
antenna?
No, but like how some people like try to
For the
like,
ghetto
hijack
TV.
it
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
like
Like that. Or and then
Jane, you ain't never had no good.
Jane been taking cable from people.
No, she been watching too much of the Boondocks before Pops got rich.
but yeah, it's like that for sometimes when I'm trying to focus, it's like that. And then for energy is like a big thing. Like I don't sleep well, and I haven't slept well like just in general, which contributes to it, by the way. What?
Do you think the medications play a part in you not sleeping well?
No, not really. I think it can, but for me, not really. In
It
fact,
happened before you got on the
Yeah.
medications? Okay.
I think that might have made things worse too, because like once you don't have sleep, everything starts messing up. But nah, like if I don't sleep, then during the day, it's already hard for me to get the energy to like get up and go around and do stuff. And when you add that on top of actually being fatigued, then why do I even bother to get up? That's like the thought process for me. So then even if it's like, okay, I know I can push myself to do it if I need to do it, then you start thinking, do I really need to do this? Like,
Oh, then you push stuff
Yeah.
around, and it's
yeah, so it makes you push things back a lot more. And then that's
so
just
for you more so it's energy and
those are the
tired.
everyday things,
Oh, okay.
which can happen even if I'm not feeling like sad or anything. Because I think people think that like depression is always being sad. That's not necessarily the case. Like I can be like, oh, I just feel off. I don't really know what it is. But like I'm fine emotionally. It's
Yeah.
just hard for me to focus on things or hard for me to get the energy to do things. Sometimes it is like, oh, well, I'm sad about this, or like something's getting me down emotionally. But that's not an everyday thing. In fact, like I can go like, I think the most I've gone is like a month with just
Without-
feeling like pretty much fine. Well, like no, I mean everyone has like things that get them down. On
That's
a
what I was about to
day-to-day
say. Do
basis.
you feel like you become more sad more than normal people, or like you
I
experience
do.
emotion?
I think I got more sensitive over time dealing with this. And that's just because like I feel like I have more things that trigger me to like, oh, people throw that word around a lot, I guess. But like things
get
that-
what you mean, though.
Yeah. So now I'll be like, oh, now I'm so sensitive about this. And it's really not that deep. But I make it that deep.
Just real quick, we're going to take a 5 and we're going to come right back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a podcast about nothing.